Cam Newton, who threw at Auburn's pro day. And this was interesting to me because Cam Newton, I think the reason I put this on the schedule is because Cam Newton said, ain't no 32 guys better than me. And I like to be mostly family friendly on this show. I don't think I've dropped any F-bombs yet. And it might come eventually in the future, but we try to be respectful. So Cam said there's not 32 quarterbacks better than him. Why are all these randoms getting jobs? So let's ask the question, Jansen, can Cam Newton actually still play in the NFL being about 12 years removed from the #1 overall draft pick?
Well, Cam Newton, he was a guy I really was hating on a lot when he was with the Patriots. I thought Cam Newton was at best. Some people pointed to what he was able to do with his legs. Some people pointed to, hey, he didn't get enough time. There was no weapons there. But I didn't think Cam Newton looked good. However, I'm a little surprised that teams aren't taking a chance on Cam Newton. There's always injuries. There's always quarterbacks getting benched. I agree with Cam. Cam Newton, I'm not saying he's going to be all world as a top 15 quarterback. But definitely in this league, he could definitely be the 28th guy, 29th, 30th best quarterback in the league. And that's not a knock. Hey, go get your paper. That quarterback money's looking good. That backup money's looking good. I
remember Brock Osweiler. Dude made like $70 million as a backup in his career.
And this is what I like about Cam. First of all, on a selfish note, I'm kind of feeling Cam's show. I kind of like the Funky Friday thing. At first, I was like, But then I started watching a couple episodes. I'm like, oh, this is kind of dope. I kind of like it. Cam got a little cigar. He's doing his thing. Looks happy. But this is smart what Cam's doing, Adam, because he's looking at it like, look, if I could just say this statement, it's in the news, people know me. Hey, I feel like on the low, he's cool with backup money. If he can get 8 to 10 mil backup money, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Just to hold that clipboard. And then you might get in if there's an injury. I think Cam Newton is just trying to work his way back in the league. It is a little disgusting that he doesn't have a job, but I think it's a smart move by Cam. Kudos to him. Kudos to him, because I think he will get a job. Now, will he be able to be an effective starter in this league? Can he last 8 games, 9 games? I don't know about that.
That's the problem.
But he can still get some money. He can make some money.
Yeah, and I'm a Cam Newton fan as well. I hated to see how his career played out, but you want to talk about, he had a throw at pro day. He scrambled out of the pocket, 50-yard dot to his brother, Kayla Newton, down the field. And that was a big reason he also did this. His brother said, I was very grateful he did this. It was very selfless. Cam didn't have to. And like you said as well, Jansen, like, hey, he's being smart. He's going out there to get that backup money. Unfortunately, I can't say any NFL team or even me would sign Cam Newton to an actual $8 to $10 million chunk of my salary cap. Maybe if he's willing to come in on a $2 to $3 million deal, because that's how teams are going to look at him. I mean, let's be real. He goes, I'm back, and then goes 0-5 as a starter and looks absolutely horrible. Now, I get it. He had just come out of the free agency, or, he was cut by the Patriots. The Panthers were trying on a wing and a prayer. They were trying anything at that point in their season. Cam had been the #1 draft pick to them before. It was kind of like with Aaron Rodgers moving. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of things tied up in it. There was a lot of emotion and things tied up in it when Cam Newton was coming back to Carolina. So I'm not going to hold that as a standard of, last time he was in the league, he was bad. But even with the limited things they were asking him to do, and I get it, he went 0-5 as a starter. That's kind of on Carolina for putting him in there. Maybe that's on Cam for saying I got it more than I really do. But my eyes aren't going to lie to me. This is a league where you have to analyze guys for play on their field. Cam didn't look good. Now, let's not forget the MVP season, because I know people are going to be coming for my throat about it. The MVP season from Cam Newton was really one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a quarterback. The way he was killing it on the ground, the way he was throwing the ball through the air, the way he was 15-1 with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, it was truly a showcase, and we thought Cam Newton had finally arrived. 4 or 5 years removed from the first overall draft pick. Panthers are getting it together. They weren't necessarily the cleanest ran team. Ron Rivera feels like he's finally completed the rebuild. And then people say that Von Miller stripped the soul out of him when he had the strip sack in the Super Bowl, and Cam was just never the same. And maybe that's the case, right? Maybe that's actually the case with him. But I don't think, rather, I know Cam Newton cannot still play in the NFL. He can maybe be a backup. He could maybe jump in for a start or two, but I just don't see, unless you're really, really, really on the precipice of just not having a good quarterback decision, do you call on Cam Newton? Because it's just, it hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been pretty realistically for most of his career outside of the MVP season, and it definitely wasn't pretty towards the end. Now, I will give it to him. When he was with New England and New England picked him up, New England didn't look bad. Cam Newton was still running into the end zone. I think Cam Newton had 14 rushing touchdowns that year. So it's pretty solid. But Cam Newton's got 194 touchdown passes and 123 interceptions in his career. Cam Newton threw for 35 yards, 35 touchdowns once in his career. That was the MVP season. Outside of that, he never threw for more than 25. I understand he's a threat on the ground, but are we not kind of seeing the same thing with Lamar Jackson now? We know what he can do on the ground. And luckily, Lamar has a better completion percentage than Cam Newton, but Lamar still can't greatly throw the football, just like Cam Newton can never greatly throw the football. Just because you got a deep ball and you can chuck it 70 yards downfield, you look at Cam Newton's completion percentage for his career in his 10 years in Carolina, even if you remove the one, it's still sub 65%. He has a 59.9% completion percentage for his career. NFL quarterbacks should be at least completing 65% of their passes. I might be nice and go 63.
Especially
but
in
you
this
cannot
day and age.
be exactly, especially in this day and age. So, like, I like you, Cam. I love what you're doing. I love that you're there for Kalen. I love that you are pouring into these guys at Auburn.
Respect
I love
for
that you
that.
went back to your alma mater and you're throwing at the pro day. I love that you're doing all that. But to be so bold and say there's not 32 people better than me, with the way the talent is in the league, man, there is. Now, there might not be a lot of backups better than you, or maybe how many ever number you want to throw out there of backups better than you. It wasn't pretty last time he got on the field. Most of his career was average. I mean, Cam Newton only threw for 4,000 yards once in his career, and that's when he was a rookie. And it was still 21 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. You know, MVP season, 3,800 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 picks. That was by far Cam's best year, because the next year it's 19 touchdowns, 14 picks. Next year it's 22 touchdowns, 16 picks, and sub 4,000 yards for his entire NFL career outside of his rookie year. So comparing that with what we need in today's NFL, and I'm not over here saying, oh, the way he played back then is not going to work now. No, it's a summation of the 11 years that we've seen Cam Newton in the league and what he has shown us so far. Now, do you think any teams realistically, Jansen? My answer is going to be no. If you had a team to take a chance on Cam Newton, tell me about him.
Man, that's a great question. I don't know.
If not, it's okay, because Cam's a tough situation. I know. Cam's a tough situation, bro. I mean,
the
Texans are about to draft a quarterback. The Panthers are like you know what I mean. The Texans are up there. The Panthers are up there. The Raiders might be looking for somebody.
Okay, maybe he can't be a starter. All I'm saying is Cam, and the only thing he messed up about this, Adam, is this. He should have said, "Look, this is the reason why I think there's not 32 guys better than me. Tune in, Funky Friday, and I'll say the rest." Plug your show with. That's what he really should have done. So there was a mistake right there. But I think Cam knows what he's doing. I think Cam Newton really feels like he could get a job. He just wants to be in the league.
Yeah.
Cam just wants to be in the league. He doesn't want to come out and be desperate and say that. So he has to say these hot takes. So, hey, you got to get your confidence up somehow. He was feeling good. Him and his brother were bonding. He was at Auburn. The whole media was talking about it. I think the only mistake Cam made with this, and I sound funny, but I'm being serious, was not plugging in on the show. I'm going to tell you why and break it down. Cam, if you somehow see a clip on a short and you have to click on it because you're in your mood or whatever, or it's 2 a.m., look, you need to explain to us which teams should give you an opportunity. Why not?
Right.
You're not in the league in the NFL where it's all strict. You can't say anything. You're out the league. Buddy, tell us who he needs to break this down. Come on, Adam's show. Break this down, Cam. because I can't defend you 100%.
Right.
Adam can't defend you. So if you don't want to come on the show, then on your show, tell us what would be the best fit for you, the best coaches for you. That's what I really want to know. And I'm being serious.
Yeah, and Cam is very exciting. Like I said, he's a very, very exciting player. But and you talk about, he doesn't want to come out and be desperate and say that he wants to be in the NFL. Hell, Jansen, I wish he would have just said, I really miss the league and I want someone to sign me. Because knowing how he played in his career and saying, ain't no 32 MFers better than me, why all these randoms getting jobs? Come on, Cam. Like, to me, that feels like desperation, because you have to go out on a limb and say that. Like, that's not even a hot take. That's not true. There are 32 people in the league better than you that have starting jobs right now. I'm not going to give it too much more of my time, but I did think it was interesting that he was going to go throw at the pro day. I mean, I think he looked good, but I'm not getting hype on anyone's pro day. Okay, I don't care if it was Saquon Barkley's, or I don't care if it was Joe Burrow's. Zach Wilson's pro day looked awesome.
Amazing in shorts.
Exactly. Everybody looks amazing in shorts and throwing against air in your own stadium, more than likely, where all your friends and family are watching you, not mostly NFL scouts in the entire world at the combine, or even in preseason, or in the actual early games of your career, you know?